is the SMX 250 World Champion. For the second year in a row, Jett Lawrence is the World Champion.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. We got a lot of stuff to unpack here today. Coming off of the SMX World Finals, everybody, welcome to Title 24, presented by NBC Sports. Thank you for everything this season. I am really excited about today's show, RV. We got a lot of fans' questions, and then also coming up this week, hopefully we're having Jett Lawrence to come on. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. And then eventually Haiden Deegan as well. So we're excited to potentially have those guys on. And again, we'll keep you posted. Before we get going, we're going to pay some bills here. Thank you, United Motorsports, Quad Lock Case, Dunlop, and Boxo. Thank you, guys. We are not going to do the United Motorsports giveaway this week. We're going to allow some more people to sign up. So make sure you go do that. Possibly we're going to do that next week, pick out the championship winner. So make sure you tune in to the socials, and we'll keep you posted on that. But nevertheless, RV, the boy's birthday, you were kind of telling us off air. It was an action-packed weekend, right?
Yes, it was. It was from the final round of SMX there at Vegas. My boys they both turned 8. The twins turned 8. We did Great Wolf Lodge all day Saturday, and then we had a barbecue here at the house on Sunday. So good get together that we had, and yeah, man, it was an action-packed weekend for us, along with back in Vegas, man, watching the broadcast. I really, it looked. I love to see that it was back in Vegas. It's been a long time since our final round of Supercross has been in Vegas. Now it's the SMX World Championship final finale in Vegas. To me, it looked like I was bummed I wasn't there, but it looked like it had an amazing vibe out there at the drag strip.
Oh, dude, you just hit the nail on the head. That's what I was going to ask you. It was just tell you, dude, the vibe was insane. I definitely think, I mean, we go to some great cities, as you know, but there's just Vegas hits different for the finale. Yeah, it just does. It was like the pit party was awesome. Even the Friday before when we did the mashup, just the energy level was high. It's a destination. I think that from a world platform, it's very enticing for people to come. So there was a lot of European fans there, Australian fans, all over the globe. So yeah, to kind of basically echo, you said it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Jay Smithers, 505. Jay, thank you for being a loyal fan. Asks, what was your favorite SMX track? I thought this weekend was good. I think you're a little bit different, but I thought Charlotte was the best, in my opinion. What do you think was the best SMX track this year that we saw?
Yep, I liked the Vegas track, what we just saw on Saturday night. I thought that I think they had a little more area to use. It was a little bit bigger of a track. It still had those big quads in that rhythm section. It still had that Supercross vibe, but it just seemed to have a little bit bigger a platform. I felt like the track raced pretty well too. They did a hell of a job with keeping that track maintained, and it didn't look like typical Vegas with that me and you were used to race, Ricky. Obviously, right. It's got that motocross vibe to it, where they kind of till up the dirt a little bit more and bring that other element into it from the breaking bumps and ruts. So I really enjoyed watching it. So for me, I would have to say Vegas. Vegas was my favorite SMX track this year.
That's cool. Yeah, it was a close for me. It was a close second. But different for me, growing up on the East Coast. I just really liked, especially the outdoor section at Concord. It looked a lot of fun. I love the ruts and the tighter corners, but definitely I was impressed. I thought it was going to be baked. Seriously, I did. I thought it was going to be very similar when I got there on Friday, because it was, as you know, Vegas is in the desert, and it was just, the wind was blowing, it was hot, and I'm like, oh no, but the SMX track crew did a good job, and it did race well. It raced well. I thought it did. Well, cool. Hey, I know that your grandpa is in town. Have you guys had any? Did you guys have any cold beer
Oh yeah. Gramps,
I love it.
he's been out, roaming around doing his deal, and he's about, I think he's 86 now, so he's getting up there. But yeah, they're down here enjoying the time here in Southern California, and checking out the new pad. They haven't obviously seen it. So yeah, they'll be here for a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, but they'll be here for another week or so at my house. And then they're actually dog sitting for my sister as my mom and myself and my sister head over to MXoN. So it's coming up quick, man.
Has he gotten you straightened out on anything at the new pad yet?
Yeah, politics, all of it. Just trying to, I'm trying to stay up with him. It's
dude, I love it.
It's great to have him around. It's probably not gonna, it's that window's shutting for him. 86 years old, so gotta spend the time with him, because before long you won't have it.
That's right. I'm with you, dude. I loved when my grandpa used to come to the races, and
yeah,
he loved it. He loved it. All right, dude. Getting into it. Is an exciting weekend. United Motorsports moment of the week has got to be two-time champ Jett Lawrence, coming off of an injury. Before we get into that, like we touched on at the beginning of the show, make sure you go over to United Motorsports and sign up for the giveaway. And if you're watching the show, you can see, just hit that barcode right there, and it'll take you right to where you need to go, the landing page. But if you're listening, go to www.unitedmotorsports.com/title24, sign up. You'll get a $15 credit on your initial sign up, and then a chance to win $50 credit to your account as well throughout the week. And then next weekend, we will be picking out a grand prize winner for the SMX World Championship. And that grand prize is a Boxo 3-drawer moto box set of Dunlop MX tires, quad lock gift card, and a Cardo Pack Talk Edge. And me and RV will send you an autographed jersey. So pretty cool stuff. But
that's a big package. That's a big package there.
It is. I think it's cool. So thanks, United Motorsports. You guys are killing it. They got a great online presence, and they'll get you dialed in. So check them out. But I don't say that for Jett that I was surprised. We can get some, again, we're hoping to have him on a little bit later on this week. Didn't want to bug the guy coming off of a world championship 2-time. Not really a surprise if you add up just how talented he is, what he can do on the motorcycle, how fit he is, his just his race DNA and all of his qualities. I thought it was going to be hard, but this definitely isn't a surprise to me. What do you think?
No, same thing, man. Jett was on fire all year. Obviously, had his thumb injury, got that fixed, came back out. Still did some Jett things, but didn't faltered a little bit, but also came in without, because of the thumb injury, with a down on some points, and Hunter rode him hard all the way to the end. So between those two, Jett was very impressive, but also Hunter was super impressive. Kept Jett honest pretty much that whole entire second moto. It'd be interesting to jump inside of Jett's head and really see if what level was he riding? Was that all out, but in control, or was he managing that race? Because I think for me the biggest improvement that I saw was Hunter in this SMX series. Coming in and then leaving round one with I think a 1-point lead. Right. And then staying strong all the way through and coming to Vegas the last round and keeping his brother honest, man. So that was, I think, for me, the biggest improvement. I kind of expected Jett to come back and be Jett. So yeah, as a whole, I think Hunter was the most impressive.
Was the biggest surprise. Dude, think about this, RV. I think I said it on the broadcast, but I would have never thought, and I think you predicted it early on in the Monster Energy Supercross series, of how the 450 kind of complemented his riding, and he would eventually get better and better. But the guy, he got taken out by Freeze. Remember the round one, didn't even qualify. Could you imagine back then that he would have done as well as he did? Like I didn't think that. I thought he would do well, but damn near beat his brother for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know if I actually, expected him to do as well as he did. I knew that he has the opportunity. I know that he, even Dazzy said Jett and Hunter, they're completely different. That's for the folks that are listening. Dazzy is their dad. Completely two different animals. Hunter processes and does things completely different than Jett, and it takes him maybe just a little bit longer to find his stride, and that's what we saw. And what I'm most impressed with is it the consistency, but also the speed and how smart he is. Like I think that 450 and the way he races it, in control. He's not doing anything spectacular, but he's doing everything great. So
exactly right. He doesn't. You hit the nail on the head. Like you watch Jett, he is like a Jett, right? And then you watch Hunter, he's a Hunter. That's what Darren was saying. Kind of like exactly what you're saying is they're both, their names represent themselves almost in the racing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So very impressed with that. It's going to be interesting to see what next year has to in store for us, right? Because they're going to get back. All these riders get back. They get some time off the motorcycle finally, and then they will start, ramping that back up. Boot camps, riding, testing, and getting back into the swing of things for this coming Supercross season. And what's to come for Hunter? Can he bridge that next little gap up to Jett?
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, show this near miss. Hunter almost got the championship. This is second moto. Watch this, dude. Oh, check this out, slow motion. Look at this. Dude drags his foot, right? And I thought he was gone right there. I really thought he was gone. And he did too, even talked about it on the podium. Like, I don't think people realized how close of a crash that was, RV. I mean,
no, yeah, I mean, going into that, call it that berm or that wall essentially, and dabbing his foot, but also doing it while standing. I think that's the biggest thing. Like you're typically sitting down in that scenario. You sit down, but he stood up and then he starts to lose it and he dabs his foot, and you can see how much pressure he's putting on that outside foot peg just to keep the bike upright. Pretty amazing things that these riders can do along with Jett and in the whole field, right? It's the evolution of our sport is it's ever changing, and the riders are getting faster, the bikes are getting better, and they're just doing more incredible things every time that they're on the track.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was talking to somebody. Who the heck was I talking to? I can't remember, but it's like how much this new generation stands up through the corners. Like you and I, we come in the corners, we sit down early, get our leg out, that transition from standing up to sitting down, get in this pocket of the seat, leg goes out, you make the corner. Now these guys rarely take their feet off the pegs and they're standing up all the way basically to the apex of the corner compared to our generation. It's really cool. And it's like, I can't imagine standing up, feet on the pegs going that fast. That would feel so weird to me. I don't think I can't I wouldn't even try it. Ain't no way.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's I think Stefan Everett's kind of the innovator of that, right? Back in the day, you've raced him. We all got to see him standing up, and
that's right.
That was many years ago. So it's finally transitioned, and I think a lot of our riders are doing it. They're doing it the best way. They're some of the best riders at doing it, the standing up, and it's less wear and tear on your spine, on your back. I think you can, the longevity of riding that way, I think is much more than doing it the way we used to do it and sitting down in these turns. It's ruining, the lower back and just dealing with, and you set the bike up differently too,
Yeah, the bikes are definitely set up different.
Yeah.
I think it's set up for this generation of riding and how they ride. Yeah. There you go. I mean, it was that close. I mean, we talk about it's a game of inches in a lot of sports, but dude, that was so close. But the guy's talented, and a lot of times, there's a lot of riders out there where we're like almost crash, but never do. So yeah, I mean, I thought he was going, but he definitely saved it. This week's Boxo breakdown, we have two parts. For good reason. One is on Jett's pass on Eli. And for the Boxo Breakdown Part 1, Nate Arula. Did Jett intentionally scrub when he passed Eli, or was that more so out of control, aka save? Well, I think that here you go. Here's a pass for us watching. He had a really good run. He goes to the inside on the split section, and I think he has to scrub right here, right? And that jump really catered to scrubbing to the left. You know, the bike was going to the left, and yeah. So I think he meant to do that. I don't think that he was trying to do anything other than that. I mean, to make the pass, he had to do that, stay low and drive through, and that's what I think. I don't think there was any other reason why, and I think he was in total control.
Yeah, totally. I think the most impressive part about that is the rear view coming what we're watching right now for the fans that are watching. His rear tire skipping up of those braking bumps. See that?
Oh, dude, I didn't notice that.
Either, you know, you have two options. There's two things that could happen there. Either it catches the first one and the tire comes off the ground a little more than he's expecting and it misses the top and the thing just comes out completely and goes into a 180. Or if you are on the brakes too much and you grab too much of the dirt, the material, and those braking bumps, and it could unload on the inside of the motorcycle and throw him almost like a low side. So really impressive. The only way you can do that is coming into that section, into that wall jump, essentially with a lots of speed, so that the tires can basically skip off of those braking bumps. And he did it phenomenally and set himself up for that pass. And it happened way before. As he comes up the jump here, you see him skip those tires right off of those braking bumps. And I think that was a little bit of I think that popped Eli's balloon a little bit, you know, just
really?
I do think so, because right here, if you see, Eli obviously has to go to the outside, but there was a massive gap put on Eli, meaning coming from behind, as we're watching right now, and then gets up next to him, makes the pass, and then he puts 4 or 5 bike lengths in between them. I feel like that was, you know, maybe a little bit of defeat. You know, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. And obviously Eli this is Moto 1, and then he had obviously a massive close call with Hunter in, I think it was Moto 2 in that quad section. Dude, that was, you know, so that was insane. Like, that would have been catastrophic if they would have got together Moto 2. But yeah, I think that the boys are on another level these days.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like, big picture, like the last couple weekends, or actually for the SMX playoffs, for Jett and Eli and the battles that they had, because you think about it, like, outside of Supercross, Jett hasn't really had a lot of time in racing against Eli, and I feel like, and he's talked about it, it was like a bucket list. I feel like there was a good learning lesson, not only for Jett, but for Eli also. I think it was a great opportunity for both to know their strengths, because they don't really have many weaknesses, and they'll be able to work on said strengths in the off season. So I think I take a guy like Eli, and he even talked about it, like where he was losing time to Jett this weekend. So, I mean, you know how it is, RV, like, you know, Eli can go work on those things. I don't think that Eli is going to take any chances and, like, ride over his head, but just those little areas where he can find a little speed and simple stuff, whether it's driving through face jumps and things like that, I think will help him for what I think it'll be his final year of racing. Again, it was I really enjoyed watching it, because I felt like while they were racing hard, they were actually learning from each other as well. I really enjoyed that race because of that.
Yeah, and it was good to see, because they really haven't, you know, been able to or raced each other head to head like we just saw in these last 3 SMX rounds. Up until that point, you know, Eli was hurt, Jett was hurt. Really, you know, they really hadn't gone head to head. And what we saw in these last 3 SMX rounds, they you know, Eli got the best of him. I think what was it, round 1 in Charlotte, Moto 1. I was able to knock down a win, which I think that was huge for him.
Yep.
Obviously, Jett coming off of that was the first gate drop, so that was huge for Eli. And then we were able to watch them here at Vegas, and the best of the best go head to head, and they're not far off. But yes, Eli, if he's looking for 2025 and being his last year, bridging that gap, that's what the off season's for, and hopefully he can, so that we can see more of that head-to-head racing.
Yeah. I was again, we talked about a little bit at the top of the show. I was impressed by Eli, never doing SMX, and I mean he came out competitive. I mean, I didn't expect him not to be, but I loved his intensity at the beginning of the races, and he was in there. And I think it would have been different had he had a higher seeding going into the playoffs, because he would have had just as much of an opportunity to win. So I think moving forward, for whether it's Eli or other riders, it just shows you the importance of what that seeding looks like. Going into, we already talked about Hunter. I agree with you. I think he was incredible, probably the best and most improved for sure. You said it perfectly. As far as the Boxo breakdown part 2,
Yeah,
this is interesting, dude. We talked about it on the broadcast. I want to get you to break it down, and I'm just gonna let you basically take care of. Yeah, I'm gonna let you take care of Boxo breakdown part 2.
All right. Yeah, So Boxo breakdown. We're gonna break down Chase and Barcia here. So it's first laps here coming through the rhythm section. We got Chase making a mistake early, and then doubles table over single and go to the inside, and Barcia's right there. Right. I personally, a racing incident, but also in this scenario, Chase kind of starting to fade to the inside to protect that inside, open the door up for Justin. They were just on different combinations. Justin was doubling into the turn, and Chase was going to roll into that turn and got landed on. So it's right, the throttle hand, you can see the jersey's ripped. Total bummer for him. Just, dude, it's when you really think about it, as an ex-racer, like yourself, Ricky, or myself, like these things can happen so quickly, and you don't even see it coming. And the amazing part about it is it happens less than it doesn't happen very often, which is amazing. It shows you how intuitive and these riders, they
calculated.
have calculated. These riders have eyes in the back of their head, essentially, right? So this one went sideways for Chase right there. He jumped onto the tabletop and had to roll off, and then you got Barcia coming up the inside on the opposite combination, and it was just it was a bad deal right there. Chase rolls off, like I said. Now double tables over singles, and he's going to roll Barcia opposite combination and lands on Chase's hand. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think he went to the Alpinestars mobile medical unit at the track. They're going to do that, evaluate that hand, probably shoulder also.
Real quick though. So going into the weekend, I don't know if you heard, but KTM had a new engine package, and it was better for the starts. He got a bad start, bad for him, bad considering where the guys that he was trying to beat needed to be, for sure. So that's interesting. I think going off of last week, what we talked about, they got a lot of work to do. Like, he's clearly not happy. It's the last round of the SMX, and they're still working on getting him comfortable and where he needs to be. It'd be interesting to see, what exactly it was and how much better that start engine package was. But regardless, I kind of feel bad for him and the team, and it's almost like, does he regret signing with him? Like, I always wonder, does he wish he would have stayed at Honda, thinking now, even if the Lawrence brothers was there?
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs, right? There's a lot of what ifs. I don't know. Look, I think all these motorcycles, all these manufacturers, those motorcycles are capable of winning. Chase has already shown it. Not to say that he's not comfortable and they have some work to do. But that being said, he has won, and he was won very recently this year. So, they need, I personally, I don't think you can, as an athlete, I don't think you can look behind you, right? Like, oh, I should have never left.
No, you can't. No, you can't look in the rear view. You drive yourself crazy, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to make the best of the world that you're living in currently. And if that's the team's job right now, I personally think that it is maybe the motorcycle. The motorcycle should be better. He's been vocal about that. We saw that at Texas Motor Speedway. But I also think Chase needs to be better too.
Yep.
Engine package, new engine package, old engine package, doesn't matter. You put yourself in the middle of that field. As we know, best riders in the world, but shit can still happen. And that's what we saw, with him getting tangled up with Justin and getting, and the bummer part is too, you make it through all of these rounds, all of Supercross, all of motocross, and the last round, you go out with a hand injury like that. So I think that's probably the most devastating part, along with, sitting third. I think that would have been a $250,000 payout. He drops to seventh, I believe. Standings. That's $120,000 payout. So pretty big chunk of change lost there too. So I know that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt the heart. So as we see right here, Jett Lawrence at 156, Hunter Lawrence at 156, and Eli Tomac was down 27 after Vegas. So
seventh. Chase dropped all the way to seventh there.
All the way to 7 with 67 down. But dang man, look at 156 and 156 from
he won the tiebreaker because he won the second moto.
Unbelievable. What a perfect story for, this SMX, the series, the way the points were designed. Yes, Jett came in with a lower seed, but was able to come through and then go down to the last round and the last moto, and we end up with 156 tied points. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no one can deny the points. I mean, Feld has done a great job at creating this playoff system and the double and the triple points. And this is only the second year. In both years, it's come down to the last moto, and that's what it was intended to do. And may the best guy win. So I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Now, like switching gears, what does this look like for the Motocross of Nations? And of course, Raj is the team manager. We got some sound. We have a sound bite.
Yes, we do.
I think he spoke with Vital, I believe. But Aaron, run that tape.
Well, we will have Chase get an X-ray Monday morning. If it is broken and it doesn't look good, then our last option is Eli. If Eli would be willing to fill in. If one of those two guys cannot go, then I think we should give up.
Just straight give up.
Yeah,
okay, well,
I mean, it's definitely a tough situation to be in with, Team USA in this situation, one of the strongest riders that we have, going on that team, and being in a situation now where he's got to, get x-rays and I'm only assuming probably the worst just by watching that video and watching kind of where he got landed on that kind of swing arm foot peg area-ish. I just have a feeling that it's probably not just going to be a bruise.
No.
So yeah, if Eli wants to step up to the plate, I think that would be a great option. I think if Eli steps up to the plate, I think we have a great shot at winning.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
and,
of course.
And then that's what we want, right? Like that's the thing. We want to give ourselves the best shot at going. It's not an easy feat heading over to Europe, shipping all these bikes, getting all the, all the personnel, the team members over there. So I understand Roger's point of view. If we don't have a good shot at winning this thing, and also the logistics, being that we're so close to it. If this would have happened 6 weeks ago, now things can be put in play a lot sooner. Bikes, different manufacturers, whoever our next rider is that's going to fill in. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening, who they send. If Eli wants to step up, like I said, I hope he does. I think that would be, I guess, one last feather in his cap. If he goes this year and maybe decides not to go next year, or if he, maybe, who knows, right? So if he can go this stage in his career and they win, that's huge. That's huge.
Oh, dude.
On his way on his way out, right? So
yeah, I got to tell you, man, dude, I understand the situation that he's in. You understand the situation when I say Eli. I hope that nothing is wrong with Chase, but I second what you say. That was a pretty bad impact, dude. I don't think it's a bruise. I
Mm.
mean, we know he's tough and he will fight through it, but like again, you have to look ahead and you have to look at the big picture and kind of like what I said on that post on last Thursday about Hymas going out and having the knee fixed. I think at hindsight, you said it. That's what Hymas should have done. I'm happy for Hymas. I'm bummed that he has an injury, but I'm happy for the longevity of his career that he's having that knee fixed.
Mm.
The way that you said it on that one episode was awesome. I'm bummed how it went down, but I'm happy for him and that he's having his knee fixed. Going back, um, as far as Eli goes, I don't know. I know why he didn't go. I mean, he said basically that AP was probably the better man for the job and he needed more time. Now he has ridden exceptionally well. I think that he would do well for sure. I think he'd fit in right. It'd be a feather in his cap. He's in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot, especially as far as the media goes and the fans go. If he says no,
Yeah.
because of how well he's performed in the SMX, he's going to get absolutely ruined. And I
Mm.
hate that. I hate that for him, especially if he's not 100% yet and just the fans won't accept his answer. And that sucks.
Yeah.
But I understand if he doesn't go and he knows how he needs to feel going into the next year. He knows how he needs to feel going into the Motocross of Nations. So I hate the position he's in because if he says no, no matter what the circumstance is, he's going to get hammered. And I just think that he needs to be given a little more grace. I'm glad I'm not in that position. You
Yeah,
and I are so patriotic,
for sure. I mean,
and
look,
it
like
just
like you said, with the performance that he's put in these last three SMX rounds, from a fan standpoint, I mean, why wouldn't you go? So, yeah, I'm sure there'll be some backlash if he decides not to go. And, you know, Star Racing, Eli, his whole team, they have a plan. And if it doesn't fit their plan, then you got to respect that too.
yeah, you're well said, dude. You're exactly right. I mean, they all and like Deegan, they hated on him and they thought it was the team, blah blah blah. Or I say they, like the fans, like
Fans.
the dude needs to have an orthopedic procedure, and if he wants to race whatever, if he wants to race West Coast, I don't know what coast he wants to race, but just if he wants to race West Coast and he needs to have this procedure done now, he needs ample time to get ready and
Mm.
he's going to have multiple years to race this race. And so if it comes down to like surgery and stuff like that, I think that these guys need more grace in my opinion. Now, when we were talking before we went on air, I want to fill everybody in that's listening. So I've never been, what I was telling RV was I'd never been on a team where we didn't have a really, really, really good chance to win. So I don't know what it's like to go to a Motocross of Nations event and not have the opportunity to go out there and just kick ass. I don't. Every single team that we had, we were just fortunate.
Mm.
We didn't always win because we made mistakes, but we always had a winning team, a really good winning team percentage wise. So what Raj says and just giving up and not going, it's a lot of money, a lot of effort to go over there. And USA is expected to win. They are expected to win. So if one of those two guys doesn't go, I feel like Raj thinks, and I tend to believe I believe what he's saying is that we need to not go.
Mm.
Just the effort, the money spent is a lot. And again, we're expected to win. So I don't know. I kind of support what he's saying. It sucks. Do you not support, like, who do you send if neither of those two guys go? It's
Ah,
talking if Eli and Sexton goes, do we pull out?
yeah, I mean, It's tough. It is a tough deal because I think we need to go from a country standpoint. And I think as a country standpoint, we get a black eye for not going. And
Oh,
not,
100%, 100%.
so it's a double-edged sword, no matter how you look at it. In my opinion, you want to go and you want to give your country the best shot at winning. But as of right now, we had a really, really solid team. Now it's kind of falling apart with Chase's hand injury. Well, to be determined on what that is. We should know here very shortly. But at that point, yeah, I think it's an uphill battle at this point from a logistics standpoint, from going over there with the right team. I mean, man, it's the 23rd today, and I leave on the 30th, which is Monday. So
yeah, I leave. Yeah, I'm going
ship to the whole pulling one team out and putting a whole nother team in. It's a lot of logistic nightmare right there. So it may be in the best interest for this year because of our race series and how many races we have and how long it comes down to. We just finished, Saturday night, 2 nights ago. And it's the 23rd already. So it may be in the best interest for us not to go this year.
Yeah, I agree, and kind of like what Raj is saying. I mean, Raj, based on what he said on Vital, he only wants to go if he knows we have the highest percentage to win. Otherwise, if he didn't, he would be saying, yeah, we'll figure it out. It's like musical chairs. There'd be a lot of guys that would sign up to do it that we do really, really well. But to listen to Raj and really to think about it some more while we're sitting here talking about it, I kind of support what he's saying. And again, I love the motocross of nations. You just like you do. We're some of the most patriotic guys ever to race that race. But at the same time, it's just, it's we're expected to win. We're expected to win. And if we go over there, what sucks is if we go over there with something less than a team that can win, then we get ridiculed because we didn't win.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the other thing is too, regardless of us sending swapping Chase and getting another rider in there, we have to have a rider that wants to go, right? Not even a rider that's capable of winning. But let's use Jason Anderson for a second, right? Like if we call Kawasaki up and say, hey, would you like to, can you come and do MXoN now? I think he's gonna be like, dude, I'm burnt, I'm fried. I think that's kind of how everybody is right now, right? So I don't think that you're not having guys just jump out of the woodwork to come out and race this thing right now in the current state of where they're, they just finally, now it's 2 weeks where they can just literally not swing their leg over the motorcycle. They'll have 2 weeks probably. And I think a lot of them have been looking forward to that. It's been a long, long season, and their head's not in that game right now to go and say, hey, get the call. Hey, we're going to MXoN. Would you do it? I think they're going to say, hey man, I'm checked out right now. So that's the other thing. It's not us really wanting to, it's not that we don't want to send a team. It's also finding a rider that's capable and that's willing to go.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate circumstance, dude. It's in short of if one of those two guys don't go, Eli and Sexton, I don't see a good compromise. I just don't, because if we don't go over, if we send someone other than one of those two guys, like I just told you, and like you've explained, we're going to get hammered. And then those poor guys, the poor racers, are going to get hammered. Oh, you guys didn't win. You suck, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, sometimes it's better not to go. I agree.
Yep.
As far as Eli goes, he got third in the championship, SMX World Championship. Jackson Roar asks, I like this question. Do you think with a full season, Tomac will be able to outpace Jett? Kind of goes to I think that he learned a lot. And so big picture for me, RV, is going into next year, and I kind of said it on the broadcast, is I think that his last season, he'll be able to rely on everything that he's learned within his career. How to set the bike up, what tracks affect the bike, just his experience. And just his experience alone and race strategy is going to yield him some really, really good results. I think that after following Jett and learning where he was outpacing Eli, I think that he will be able to make those adjustments and work on those certain areas in the off season. But I don't think he's going to be in a situation to where if Jett is doing something gnarly and he doesn't feel comfortable doing it, I don't think he's going to take that chance, and he doesn't have to.
Yep.
So he's able to he'll be able to just kind of, sit back and let everything that I just talked about play out and try to take advantage of Jett's still I wouldn't even say lack of experience, but yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'll use you and James for an example, right? Like James had you covered on speed.
Yep.
I don't think Eli's going to be able to week in, week out run Jett's pace. But I think if you could take half of our total rounds combined, total rounds, take half of them. If Eli can put Jett under pressure and potentially force him into a mistake or force him into a bad start because Moto 1, Jett couldn't break Eli, or maybe Eli wins that moto and then it forces him into a bad start because of, a little more pressure that he hasn't been in for a whole Supercross season or a whole outdoor season. I think it's going to come down to him keeping that pressure on and forcing Jett into a potential mistake. I don't think he's going to bridge the gap to where he can just outrun him week in and week out. I think Jett will still have the upper hand on speed. But to your point of what you just said of Eli, Eli's
experience,
experience that he has, and how fast he is, right? Like I think he can do that, but I think he's going to have to force him into next year, force him into these potential mistakes. I don't think he outruns him in the pace.
Yeah, 100%. That you hit the nail on the head as far as me and Bubs and how I was able to win a couple races there that final season.
Lot. I mean, a lot of races.
Yeah. Basically, majority of his time Supercross. Talking Supercross, outdoors, they were like I could just, I could match. I was much closer in speed in outdoors, so he didn't have as much of an advantage as he did in Supercross on me. But yeah, I think it's going to play out exactly like that. I think a lot of it's going to be track dependent. So fast, not slower tracks where it takes a lot of skill and precision. I think the faster tracks are be the ones where Eli's going to have a really good shot.
Where he can really ride the motorcycle. That's the thing. Like Eli's probably one of the last, in my opinion, like that bulldog, like URC, more like how I rode.
Yep.
Where you're not you're flowing and you're in the groove, but you're kind of bouncing off things. Hayden's a lot like that too. He's the next. He's this generation that's kind of like balls to the walls type mentality. Where Jett's more methodical and hops across the bumps and really takes his time. Lots of roll speed. So I think it is going to be track dependent also when it comes to that.
Yep, it is. Good question, by the way. Thanks, Jackson. That was a good one. It's going to be fun to watch for sure. And I'm just happy that Eli's racing again. I think it's good. I think we're going to be treated for sure. As far as the 250 goes, Deegs making it happen. Super impressive. Hopefully we reached out to his team. Hopefully we can get him on here. And I think he's enjoying himself for the week. I think a lot of these guys are taking the week off, which I damn sure don't blame them. But no surprise. It's such a lot of fun. I think, he took the 250 class straight up by storm this year. The MX champion, defending his SMX World Championship. I think if he goes into that Eastern Regional Supercross, I think not being injured, I think he would have won that too. You just have to assume that. So no surprise. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun watching him. He talks the talk and he damn sure walks the walk. And it's, I appreciate how he's able to do that, being under the spotlight. But just his riding was really good. As far as that, dude, Pierce Brown rode unbelievable this week.
Yes, he did. I mean, Vegas sometimes does that, man. It'll bring it'll bring the best out of some of these guys, and you least expect it, right? So we've all saw Pierce for many years now, and glimpses of very quick speed, having lots of speed, and just the mistakes and crashing and not performing well when it comes to the consistency side of it. But he's got the speed, and man, Saturday night, he was able to put it all together, which was very impressive. I think a big confidence booster for him. That's his first Supercross overall win also. So man, for him, couldn't go out on a higher exit,
Right.
in these I have a whole season, but these 3 SMX rounds, and finally getting his first Supercross win for TLD. So that's pretty cool. It's going to be interesting to see what that does for his confidence and what it looks.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, and listen, he's always one of those guys, RV, that he can win or have a good shot to win. And it just always seems like something goes wrong for the last several years. I think he's a great dude. Had a chance to go on a couple bike rides with him during that COVID year. We went back to Salt Lake City and finished out the last 7 rounds. We went on a couple bike rides, and I got to spend some time with him. This is back in 2020. And just a nice kid. But what I like about that is we got to see him live up to the potential that we know that the level that he can perform at. I love watching athletes do that. So it was cool. It was cool to see that happen. I was happy for his race team. This is the last race with the Troy Lee Designs gas team. I think that Pierce is heading over to the Star Yamaha team is what I heard.
Yep.
So
to expand on that, like when Haiden got into second after he passed Ty, like Haiden he tried to make a run at him and really couldn't bridge that gap.
He said that. He's like, dude, I wasn't bridging the gap. And like, that's pretty, think of that.
Pretty gnarly that you were able to, that Pierce was able to fend him off, number one, but also run the pace up front. And the pace was a very, very high pace where we saw Haiden hit that where Jett passed Eli. We saw him sky that single, send it to flat. Like he put in a lap that was incredible, and it still wasn't enough to be like, oh, hey, that was to take a half a second or 3/10, where you a chunk of time where you could really he could visually see it to where he's like, okay, I'm going to keep this going. He obviously resorted to just running it, bringing it in second, leaving Pierce out front, but he tried. So Pierce was on a really good one.
Hey, any other thoughts on the 250 before we get to the quad lock question of the week? Like anything you want to expand on? Did you expect more of anyone? Like, were you like, dude, like,
I mean, I expect more out of every one of those 250 guys. And why I'm saying that is if they want to, Levi and Tom and the rest, Joe, the rest of that field, they need to figure out how to stop Haiden. But it's gonna be tough. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's tough. Like, imagine, like, okay, I'm gonna like role play this. Imagine someone trying to beat you. Like, it just, how do you beat you? Dude, you have the highest winning percentage of anyone. Like, I'm not saying that this, like, people can't be beat, but you're also special.
No, and that's
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you're just not normal, like, in a good
the
way.
biggest problem is it's not just one thing. It's not like, hey, we just need a little more speed and I have the consistency. It's what I see from all those riders is consistency is a problem, speed's a problem. Starts are hit or miss, and if they get a bad start, they can't come through the pack. Haiden he's so well rounded. He's 9 times out of 10 he's the fastest. 9 times out of 10 he's the most consistent, And if he gets a bad start, he's able to most of the time work his way through the pack and put himself in a position for the overall, or not to mitigate the points, the loss of points. He does everything fairly right. So I think the guys are up against a tough.
They're up against it. They're up against it, dude. All right, dude. This is a nice segue, actually. So, quad lock question of the week, dude. You love this guy's handle, don't you?
Clydesdale Earnhardt Jr.
Dude, that is the best handle that we've seen.
Yeah,
ever
best one I've seen. Yep.
Yeah, quad lock question of the week. Hey, Clydesdale Earnhardt Jr. He wins just because of the name in general, dude. That is awesome. Congratulations, Clydesdale. You win the quad lock question. I can't stop laughing. Question of the week, quad lock. Thank you for doing this. This is a great campaign. You know what to do by now. I'm sure JH, our co-producer, has already reached out to you to get you dialed in. But Clydesdale Earnhardt Jr. asks, who would you guys compare the future rivalry of Jett versus Deegan to? RVRD, RCJS, others. We had quite a few of these questions, by the way. And how would I do that? For me, I'm gonna say it's very similar to you and RD. I wouldn't say it would be close. It for me, it's closer to my rivalry with MC, and rather than James, because I just feel like I know how MC raced and I know how James raced, and like for me, I feel like I would be the Deegan version and MC would be the Jett version. Does that make sense? And just the calculation and just how methodical that MC was, So I think it's that it would be very, very similar to that. As far as from the outside looking in, your rivalry with RD, I mean, you were able to go over the edge, be more aggressive, ramp up your intensity. I mean, again, I just talked about your accolades and your win percentage. So, I mean, how would you compare the rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem I see with the MC and you and myself and Dunges is when we're talking about these Haiden and Jett currently as that rivalry, right? Who is that going to be the next one? I think that Haiden and Jett alone, those two are much better than you were, Ricky, meaning from a technical standpoint on the motorcycle. Even me, like 100%, Jett, much better than me. Hayden's kind of like got both of those worlds of a little bit of my riding style and your riding style, but also he's current. He's 18 years old. When that time comes, I think the biggest question is when that time comes, I'm hoping that Jett is still at his peak, and it's not like he's, kind of the runway's running out, right? And he's
flattened out. Yeah.
Or he's flattened out, and then Haiden comes up and he's in his prime, because that gap, that difference in, because I think Hayden's got still another 2 years in the lights or in the 250 class, right?
I bet he stays in it one more year and then bounces. Yeah. I don't know that. Dude, that's total speculation. I mean, it seems like that would be the natural progression.
Yeah, if he stays in one more year, right, that would be 3 total. Would that be? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 total. Yep. Yeah. So let's say he's going to be one more year, so Jett gets another, and then you got to remember Hayden's going to have at least one learning year on that 450 with the added races and all of that. That's a huge undertaking on itself alone. I hope to see it. I hope to see.
But do you think so? Who do you think it like that rivalry? You don't think it's like close to?
I just think I think they're better than I was, and I think they're a lot better than Dunge was too. So, I think myself and Dunge were on a pretty level playing field. but not as good and technically and also well rounded as Haiden and Jett are currently. So one of my biggest rivalries was Dunge from a longevity standpoint. You know, you could never count the guy out. But then I obviously raced James very hard for many years, and Chad also, you know, but it wasn't as long standing as racing Dunge.
Yeah. It was I would say like everybody made a big deal about like mine and MC's rivalry, or me and Stu, but I think that like for me personally, like you just made me think of something. I think my rivalry with Reedy was probably the most intense one.
Yes, I would have to agree.
And in a weird way. I don't know. Just because like kind of like what you said, my rivalry with MC is I don't know that I ever got the best of MC. He was like, I think he was flattened out at that stage, you know, by the time that I had gotten to where I was my best. Like everyone like would always try to compare me and Everts when we would race, and I'm like, dude, I'm 17 years old. This guy's 28 years old. He's got he's got worldly experience. He's multi-time, you know, world champ. Like I'm not even close to like where I would like to be someday. And he's already achieved everything that he's going to achieve. So it really was never a fair comparison. Like what you're saying, it just, I raced MC when he was awesome, but I don't think that he was the best he ever was. And I mean that respectfully, you know,
it's just you know, the when each of you turn pro, you come up, just like we're seeing that Jett's already been in the 450 class for it'll be 3-ish years before Haiden comes up. So you have that gap. Then he's got that learning curve for Haiden in the 450 class. And what's Jett's runway look like? You know, how long is he going to be in this? How long is he going to be at his best, his ultimate best? I think he has a definitely a lot more years to come. I mean, I don't know at this point, because we're going to lose Eli here within 12-ish months.
Yep.
You know, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, Chase would be the next guy to come in and challenge Jett. But as of right now, that what I mentioned about consistency and having that whole package, he's lacking in that department right now. And a little bit of it's the team, a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit it's him also. And you can't be lacking anything when you're going to race a guy at that level.
You're exactly right. You have to have every part of your game buttoned up, dude. Everything. You got to be comfortable with the bike. You have to know you can win on your bike. You have to be honest with yourself, personal responsibility. You have to have the cardio side of it buttoned up. You have to be mentally strong. You have to have race strategy. You have to be smart about how you set your motorcycle up on certain tracks. I mean, the foresight that you have to have has to be on another level, dude. And yeah, it's going to be, regardless, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it all play out. And it's going to be a lot of fun to just see how two different styles of racing and approaches basically equate to the same thing, right? Like riding styles and just how you do things. I'm excited for it. It's some time out, like you said, for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though when it does happen.
Yeah, for sure. Clydesdale, thanks for that, dude.
Yeah, good question.
That was a great question. Again, the name, it's got me, dude. I can't I can't stop talking about it. Yeah, thanks Quadlock again, and thanks for the question. Congratulations. Moving along, the final segment of the show, the Dunlop debate. We're gonna knock out some fans' questions for the Dunlop debate. If you haven't, I didn't hear too much about the Scoop this weekend. Scoop tire. I think we have a question here about that. No, I don't see it. So when we were thumbing through our questions, we'll get to that. These someone wrote in a question, RV, about like how we didn't have like the experience with the Scoop tire. I need to find that.
I saw it. I saw it in the text.
You tell them you rode with the Scoop tire, right?
I did, MX11. So that tire, obviously, I mean, I've been retired now for almost coming up on 9 years, I think. So yes, the tire, I know we've talked about it on the show before. The current Scoop tire that's out there.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What is it?
Hey, this is from I don't even know. This person asks, this is a genuine question. How have you and RV not tried the scoop tire? Question mark. Exclamation point. With your connections, bikes, gear, would it not be as simple as just grabbing one and riding it one weekend so you can give us more insight into what it's like to run one? Was just curious if this was not a public version of a tire and not something you could get your hands on. Well, I can tell you why I haven't. Number one, I'm old as shit. Okay. We didn't even have the scoop tire when I was racing. And two, the reason that I haven't used it is because I'm too damn lazy to go get one, put the tire on. The sad part is I could probably get someone to put it on my rim. I can do it. I'm just too lazy. And yeah, just too lazy to take the time to do it. Straight up.
And
Why? Like, but you have.
yeah. So I've rode the call it the previous or multiple previous versions of the scoop tire. So I have not rode the new scoop tire. But to the fans point, or for the question that the fan asked was, why don't we ride them? Well, number one is if I'm going to go out and ride that tire, it needs to be, for me, it needs to be on like a sand track in Southern California.
You ain't trying to go ride the sand tracks?
Yeah, we ain't having a sand track out here, so we don't have the sand. And number two is yes, if I would go down to the local dealer, obviously it's going to be a production tire. If I call up Brock Glover from Dunlop, he'll send a factory tire. But from the feeling and from the aspect of what that tire does is it's got great straight line drive, right? Like, as you can see, you guys have all seen, the fans listening, watching, that have watched previous and of broadcasts, and when they're talking about and highlighting that scoop tire, you can see it is a big giant scoop. So straight line drive is great. Now, where those tires aren't as good as call it a medium terrain, softish terrain tire, is on a lean. We've talked about that. Every broadcast you guys have talked about it on the show. We've on Title 24. We've talked about it. When you lean that tire over to the side, it doesn't have as good as the grip is not as good as a, call it, hard pack tire or a medium terrain tire. So, and the other thing is too, is running a tire like that, the motorcycle better be set up for it to a certain extent, so it's especially for those top guys. Now, yes, could I go, like I said, grab a tire and go take it out to Glen Helen and give it a whirl? Yes, I could totally do that. I know, like I said, I know its character. I know its traits. Now, do I know how good that new tire is? No, I don't. I haven't rode that new tire. So that's my rant on that Dunlop due diligence. Glenn Myers 395.
Hey, I'm just at least you've ridden a relatively current one. Well,
Yeah.
not even relatively, but at least you've ridden one. Hell, and you're not even too lazy to go try it. I'm just straight up too lazy to go do it. I don't know.
It's
but
like,
I'm
hey,
gonna do it.
Go ride Croom, let's go, like, get the boys together and go ride Croom and have some beers afterwards. Like, okay, sure. Then maybe you go to the Triumph shop and you'd say, hey, put a scoop tire on there for it. You got to have the right condition for it.
Dude, and I'm, another reason that I haven't done it, because I'm lazy. Since I sold my place to Star,
yes,
dude,
MX
I have to load up to go ride anywhere. And dude, for 10 years, I never had to do that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm just like, I just too lazy, man.
I'll be honest. And for the listeners, I know we sound like prima donnas. I know we do. But it's like, loading up, going to the track, coming home, washing the bike, like, changing the oil, the filter, all that. Yeah. Are me and RC capable of doing that? Yes, we are. But that's just not in our cards right now. I don't know. It's a lot of work, like, and I'm totally fine taking my YZ250F or my YZ450 with production tires, stock suspension. It's plenty fast enough, and it's plenty good enough for me for what I want to achieve in my riding today.
I'm with you, dude. Like, I get back when I do go load up, dude. Show you how prima donna I am. When I go do my bicycle rides, whether it's mountain bike or road ride, I'm too lazy to lay. I just ride from my house, even if that means I got to get on some roads I probably shouldn't be on. I don't even like loading up to do that. It's how spoiled I am.
I hear you. It's like, hey, you have a road bike for a reason, so let's ride it out. But yeah, we never loaded up either. We would I
Hey,
would
and then
fly
when
the opposite direction to go meet Eldon, and then we'd take off and
dude, I'm too lazy to wash my motorcycle when I get back. When I do load up to go ride, I get home, I unload it, and it sits in the garage basically until the next time that I do go ride.
and then you want to wash it before you go ride it.
Yeah, I clean it up and all that stuff, and make sure everything's
Get
good.
Big Rick on it. Get Big Rick on it.
Dude, he don't want to do that. And I'm like, I say, hey, Big Rick, well, you clean my bike for me. He's like, you can't do it. He's done with that, bro. He's done with that. I'm like, I'll get a cooler full of beer. He's like, I got my own. Clean your shit. All right, Glenn Myers, $3.95. I like this one. With SMX Finals being its own mini series, everyone should start at 0 points. Change my mind. Okay, you want? Okay, I'll tell you.
This one up. I think you're a little more versed on
Okay.
those points.
It's just like, let's go to other sports. You want to be the number 1 seed. Why do you want the number 1 seed? So you can have a home field advantage, and there's incentive throughout the playoffs or throughout the regular season. Like the better you do, you're rewarded for that. And that's why, number 1, I think there should be a reward for the regular season, and you accumulate those points. If it was 0, everyone would just, I'm not saying everyone would just ride around and do what they do, because you have the Supercross series and Pro Motocross, those 2 championships, and some of the riders are wanting those. But yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be an incentive, and you need to be rewarded for the regular series. So that's why I think you shouldn't go into the playoffs with 0 points. That I made my case. I think that the double points, triple points work great, and I think it puts guys in positions to where they have to perform. The point system, the way it is now, does that, and then with the seeding, I think the guys should be incentivized for the regular season.
Yep. And I think just the way. I mean, I think like I said it earlier on the show. We had Hunter and Jett were tied at 156. It came down to the last round last year for SMX World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we saw, to make another point of just the whole, it as a whole, Kenny coming back to get some points. If you could get back out and race a few outdoors, and it's making these riders get back out on the track, which is a good thing, right? Like, instead of missing and say, oh, I'm just going to wait for SMX, I'm just going to start that, I'm going to forfeit these last 6 rounds. It is incentivized for them to get back out on the track for pro motocross and position themselves for that seed and have a better opportunity when you come in to those, when the start of the SMX series.
I also think too, the guys that are higher seeded, like you mentioned, I think you mentioned Kenny. Imagine Kenny if he had a higher seed. I know that he tries as hard as he can, but it just somehow it just changes itself. Like a great example of, did you notice how like the top 4 guys in the seeding at the end just magically found each other, right? Basically at all the rounds, and they were racing close to each other. I think if Kenny has is a higher seeding, I think you see him up further in the pack. I think it just, the mindset, I think that changes your mindset, and you just find a way to get up front, a lot like he did last year. He was kind of in it from the start, and he just carried it on, carried that momentum through all the way to LA, and Jett ended up winning. But so that's why you got to be incentivized. In every other major sport that has a playoff scenario, they are rewarded and gifted by how well they play and how well they perform in the regular season. That's what I think. Glenn, hopefully that changes your mind, or you're open to considering what RV and I had to say. And then the last one, Jimmy K _140. I kind of like this one too. What about having then first 2 rounds of the playoffs be elimination rounds? Top 15 make second round, top 10 make the final round. Do you want that one, or you want me to go?
So that would put them, we'd still have 22 men on the gate
For the first round, the
first
way
one.
that I read it.
Yep.
And
And
then
round 2 go
they're
to,
eliminated. There's only
yep.
15 guys, and
And
then
then,
for 10 guys for the final.
um,
Now you're gonna piss off the privateers. So
well, you're going to piss the
tread
privateers
lightly, dude.
off. You're going to piss off a handful of our massive manufacturers because you're going to have some factory riders that aren't potentially going to be in there, right? Just because if shit happens and they don't make it. So, yeah, I think that's a decent theory, but I think with the amount of money and the effort that goes into this, Supercross season, Pro Motocross, and SMX World Championships, we need a 22-man gate. I can tell you that I watch MXGP every Monday when it's on YouTube TV, and when I see a 42-man gate or a 40-man gate, whatever their gate is, I think it's 42-man gate, and there's only 15 to 18 riders on it, and from a professional standpoint, it doesn't look very good.
Okay, well, I think maybe we're right, or maybe we're wrong on the,
Oh.
or I'm reading it wrong or understanding the question wrong. But they can still race for the night purse. They're just eliminated from the championship. So essentially, we have 22 guys on the gate still, but outside the top 15, they're eliminated after the first round, and then only 10 people have a shot at the championship.
I mean, it's basically that way already anyways, right? Like we
have 22 guys on the
mathematically it's not, but we as a fan and as an ex-racer, we know there's only 3 to 5 guys that are championship contenders going in. I mean, let's be honest. And there's only one spot, and it ended up with Haiden Deegan and ended up with Jett Lawrence this year. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, that's I'm just kind of digesting it, but I understand. Like I get it. I don't know if that one that would be as effective as, say, like NASCAR. NASCAR kind of does the same thing.
Yep. The
I
chase.
just don't. Yeah, I it's weird. I like the idea. I don't know how it would play out. I'd have to put my thinking cap on, and I don't feel like thinking about it that much right now. That's it. What do you got for the rest of the week before I get to the Motorsports NBC? What you got cracking the rest of the week, dude?
Yeah, just gonna hang out with the grandparents. Like I said, we're off to, both of us, but I'm off to London on the 30th, and so I'm gonna lay low this week locally, and then off to Europe. So it's been a busy last couple of weeks with that family reunion, and then home and birthday, and so yeah, it's gonna be nice to obviously have a little downtime, and then off to Europe.
Yep. Remember what we talked about at the beginning of the show to all our listeners, people tuned in for today. We reached out to Jett and his team. They said that we'll try to have him on a little bit later on in the week. Just we'll keep you updated on the social stuff. That should be a really fun interview. And then, of course, we reached out to Deegan as well. And I think there's a good opportunity. I don't want to completely commit to them, but it's looking pretty good. So that'd be fun to have both of those guys on at some juncture. RV, we've had some really good growth in Title 24 this year compared to last year. So I just want to give a massive shout out to all of our listeners, whether you watch this show on Peacock or on Motorsports on NBC's YouTube page, or you listen to us on your podcast applications. We appreciate it. It's kind of humbling. We had a massive amount of growth from our first season to this season. So that's good stuff, RV. I feel like it's fun. It's fun. We hope you guys like it.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, like being able to spread some knowledge and on this series and on this platform, and with the racing that's, blessed us with so much opportunity in this sport, it's really cool to be able to sit in this seat now and dissect it and go over it with you guys and with you and NBC Sports backing our program. So, we're going to keep working on it, keep building it, and keep improving the shows. So, that's kind of where I sit. Yeah, I'm having a great time.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to be at Motocross of Nations as well. I got some fun stuff. You're doing some killer stuff for Yamaha. I'm doing some really fun stuff also for Triumph. It's going to be a lot of fun. You and I will get up when we get over there. So yep. Before we get going, pay some bills here. Motorsports and NBC's. Here you go. Motorsports NBC Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. As you guys know, SMX Insider with Weege and JT. That'll be on their YouTube page. Go over there. You won't want to miss it. For sure. It's always fun. They had Hunter on the big interview last week. So go over there and check that out. And then, of course, Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, NASCAR Cup Series is in Kansas. That'll be live on USA. Remember, this is, I believe this is round 2 of the NASCAR playoffs. So there's some dudes eliminated. I think 4 or 5 guys were eliminated back in this past weekend in Bristol, where Young Money Kyle Larson just ran the table on those dudes. I think he led the race. RV was 500 laps, and I think he led over 450.
Wow.
That's a lot in Bristol with as much crap that can go wrong. And love the fan interaction. You guys are awesome. We are going to be doing some episodes as well in the off season. But before we sign off, thank you, United Motorsports member. Go over there and sign up. Go Quad Lock Case, Boxo, Dunlop. You guys are awesome. You can always watch us on Motorsports and NBC's YouTube page, Peacock, and anywhere. We're on all the podcast applications. So, RV, you got anything to say?
That's it. Other than thank you for the listeners, the fans, for keeping us in business, boys.
That's right. That's right. We're going to keep doing it. We got to get some live shows next year. We're open to some suggestions for anyone. That wants to give us suggestions on what you think we should talk about or do. I'm all for it. So that's it for us. We'll keep you guys posted on if we get the champs on here. And until then.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.